All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of our Funded Trader interviews. We are here with Lloyd. Thanks for joining us, Lloyd.
Thanks for having me, Angelo. Glad to be here.
So, for everyone that doesn't know, we are the Funded Trader. So, we supply traders with funded accounts after passing our two-step evaluation. Lloyd obviously has gone through the challenge and he is now a funded trader. And I believe you're up a pretty good amount at this point as well. So it's definitely good to have you on and to kind of, run through how everything's been going.
A good trade today that kind of put me over the top. So today was a good day.
Yeah, I see that. So you're up. What are you up right now? You're up about like 20%, 22% or something.
49K, so almost 25.
Yeah, that's obviously amazing. So let's get started. Where are you calling in from?
I reside in Richmond, Virginia.
Nice. How did you I see you're wearing some scrubs there, So so what
Yeah,
by trade are you, in the medical profession?
I am. I actually just got off work. I'm a full-time respiratory therapist. Been one since '03.
Nice.
So yeah, on the front lines with this pandemic.
Yeah, obviously you're the resistance right now, right?
Basically.
So obviously thank you for helping out with everything. A lot of crazy stuff going on in the world, and it's cool to see that, obviously someone who's, in their professional career is also kind of taking trading as serious as you are. Why do you think, you're kind of getting into it right now and really making the play for all these accounts and everything?
I've been actually trading since I was first introduced to it in 2007. And once I was introduced to it, I just fell in love with that. When I could see that, you could trade and put a dollar amount to a pip, like $10 a pip, and it can go 10 pips in your favor and make $100. Once I was introduced to that, I was hooked because I saw that as a means of, time freedom, getting away from the 9-to-5 grind. So I've been trading off and on since '07. The real issue has been that I work a full-time job. I've always had 2 or more jobs, and it kind of got in the way of me being available during like the London session when, most of the volatility happens and I'm working 9-to-5. So that's been my biggest obstacle.
So it looks like you're what are you, down in your basement in like the trading bunker?
This is my garage, and this is my little man cave, and I have it set up. It's in its beginning stages.
I see you got, some notes behind you. So I'm just thinking you probably go into the bunker and make all your trades and really lock in and go at it. That's cool to see, man. I'm actually looking. Yeah. So I didn't even realize. So you're number 1 right now on the leaderboard.
I saw that this morning. I saw that. Well, yeah, I plan to stay there too.
yeah. You're number 1 right now. On the leaderboard, you have the king position. So congrats to you.
Thank you.
But in the words of Tom Brady, it's not about the last ring, it's about the next one.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so we gotta work to stay on top of there. How long have you had your account?
Let me see. My first withdrawal is on the 13th. So since the 13th is when I was granted a funded account, 200K.
Okay, so you're about two weeks now. Now, do you have Are you trading another account right now, a phase two?
I've passed the phase 2, just waiting on you all to grant it and merge it.
That's it. Yeah, 'cause I wasn't sure if you were simultaneously trading. So let's dial back. How did you said you started in about 2007. How did you kind of get involved with all of this? And obviously, since you've started, a lot has changed, including these like funding, opportunities. So walk us through kind of the beginning stages of how it all went down.
All right, I'll tell you the exact story. So back in 07, I was working at a manufacturing plant, and these guys kept telling me about a particular guy in the community who would take your investment, and in 6 weeks he would double your investment, right? So everybody at the plant was like, we gotta go see this guy. He's having a seminar. So went out and to this spot and did the seminar. I signed up. I gave him, I think, $2,000. And then he said he said he was giving classes on what he was doing in order to double your account. Mm-hmm. So I took the class. It was a makeshift class. He had it in a hotel. And that's when he introduced the room to Forex. And to be honest, he really didn't know what he was doing. But he got a lot of people in the community to invest a lot of money with him. Mm-hmm. And ended up, it didn't turn out well, but the positive I took from it was I was introduced to Forex. And that, like I told you, when I found out, I could assign a dollar amount to a pip and, figure out which direction a particular pair was going, I could monetize that. So from there, I just went all in. I think the first thing I did online was go to babypips.com, and I printed all of the pages from that site and just studied it. And back then, I think the main broker was FXCM. So I was trading with them. Then I traded with Owanda. But like I said, I was working full time, 2 jobs, but trying to trade simultaneously. And I had some ups and I had some downs. I made some money and I lost some money, but I never quit. I never gave up. And I always figured that at some point my life would, get to a point where I could trade full time. So I was introduced to prop firm funding maybe 2 years ago. And that was it. It was a game changer. I said, well, all I got to do is, pass their challenge, and I can trade with their funds. It's game over since then. And I don't look at it as being difficult. I feel like I could pass any of these prop firms, especially if I didn't have to work. But even with working, I still feel like I could do it.
Yeah, that's a testament to obviously your trading plan, right? You're confident in the approach that you have right now. You're really not shaken at all by the ups and downs. So that's good to see. I'll even say, like, when I first kind of found out about these firms, I think the first one that I learned about back in 2019, obviously FTMO, and for me it was like the gates of heaven, opening. Like I was like,
same here.
Because I won't, so for me it was just like, wow, everything I was doing up to this point was focused around account flips, having my job grow my capital, but once I found out about the challenges and the prop firms, it was like, okay, now here is my benchmark, right? Here's my goal. Here's my opportunity to grow. And that's personally how I grew, because I had a lot of trouble with the risk management, sticking to the right lot sizes and everything. And the challenges force you to create a plan, right? They force you to use risk management, to be very disciplined. And I think that's something that's missing for a lot of people. And that's why overall, it has been very positive, I believe, at least for myself and the overall community, to have these challenges because it's putting people in positions they otherwise wouldn't have been in. They would have just been trying to flip their accounts or whatever. Now the goal is like, all right, you make 2% on $100,000, that's $2,000, right? Maybe some people only have $500. You make 2% on $500 is like $10. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
yep, and that was the problem. I was doing the same thing, working 2 jobs, trying to stack enough capital. My whole goal was to get to like 25 grand. I said if I could get to 25 grand, then I could really trade full time. But I would never be disciplined enough, right? I'll get into maybe 15 grand and then I'll do a stupid trade and it didn't revenge trade. You know, it was crazy. But like you said, with the prop firms, they force you to stay disciplined and stay within a certain threshold, which is not difficult once it's set there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, I think there's something. I mean, it's obvious because this is what the situation is, but there's something to be said of. You paid. Did you pay the full price for the challenge?
I got the VBS 10% discount.
So he got the discount. So you paid about $820, for the challenge, and you're up $52,000. You know what I'm saying? Like there's something to be said of that.
Right, exactly. It's like I do it every day.
Yeah,
it's not even a question, man. Yeah. And I knew that. I was like, I'll pay this $800 as many times as I need to pass this challenge. But I didn't have any. I didn't doubt that I would be able to do it.
Yeah, I think I'm seeing by looking at some of the history that on average people pass after being unsuccessful 3 times. There has already been a few interviews that we've done where people have passed on the first try and then all of a sudden they're like killing it on the funded. I think that a lot of that has to do with their psychology behind their experience, right? So they're a little bit more experienced. Maybe it's not their first funded account that they've managed before. I think a lot of times when people get these accounts for the first time and it becomes like a very lucid dream that they're then living, then it's then your decisions all of a sudden are really based in fault, like they're not good at the end of the day.
Right.
You're getting too excited about what you're doing and ultimately you end up failing it, right? So the people that are going into it have that experience, are have a good plan. They're kind of just even keel. You're up 52 grand. You're not sitting here on a crazy high right now. You're humble. You're expecting to be here, right?
Right. I'm expecting to be here for the long term.
Yeah.
I mean, this really is. I don't want to subdue it or downplay it by no means. This really is life-changing. You know what I mean? This is what will springboard me to doing a lot of things that I've been wanting to do in life. You know what I mean? So I don't want to, downplay it by no means. But I do plan on being here for the long run.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, just based on, at least in this country, like the average amount of money, not to get too into it, the average amount of money people have saved and whatnot. I mean, you make 50,000, 100,000 in one shot. It really opens the door to a ton of possibilities, whether it's getting out of debt, having your expenses paid, or really reinvesting, ultimately in whatever you're choosing to invest in. It's like you said, it changes the situation dramatically.
Yeah. And then you compound that with, the scaling up and the, like I passed 2. I definitely plan on passing the 3rd one and merging them all and then having that, what's that? 36,000 daily limit and 72 max.
Mm-hmm.
I can work within those parameters forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And again, just to run it back, I mean, you're up 25% on the 200K, right? if you were up 25% on 5 grand, you know, it's not much at the end of the day. It's about $1,000, 12, whatever, you know what I mean? It's
Right,
not,
right.
not anything crazy. So you're definitely seeing the benefits, and people got to realize it's not about these 1,000%, 300%, 100%. You know, it's about risking a low percentage, and like you're saying, I mean, you're up a crazy amount in 1 month, but it's getting that 5%, 10%, 20% for the month. That's all you need, man.
That's really all you need, you know. And given the parameters, it shouldn't be that hard.
Now,
I don't. I swear, I feel like I'm. I don't want it to come across like I'm.
like you're downplaying.
Belittle. Yeah,
Yeah.
downplaying it, but it's huge. It's huge, and I'm just happy to be here to take advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, because you know what has been, obviously you probably had some trials, you know, along the way. You know, so you've probably blown accounts along the way and everything.
I
So
definitely have. Yep.
yeah. So, you know, even though right now Lloyd is on he's enjoying his work, right? The fruits of his labor right now, but don't get him wrong. You know, there's a lot of work that got put in to get to this point at the end of the day.
Yeah, a lot of heartache too. You know, like you said, blown accounts, and I've been in this. Like I've listened to like interviews from other traders, and all of them are like, I got started in 2014, 2015. I'm like, I've been in this over a decade. I've been at this over a decade, so I've been through it all when it comes to, you know, trading and, you know, trying to manage trading and work and family and, you know, that whole culmination. So I'm just glad that I stuck with it, and eventually prop firm funding came into play, and I'm able to, you know, take advantage of that.
Yeah, one thing that I always told myself, especially, you know, I'm like those people you mentioned. I started this not too long ago, you know, in 2019, 2018. One thing I always told myself was like, all of these losses, you know, all this money, you know, that I'm potentially losing could all be made back, you know, very quickly. And in the beginning, before the prop thing, it was about the account flips. It was like, oh, I can make it back in one trade, which was a horrible way to think about things, right?
Right.
And then once the prop trading came into play, that became a lot more realistic, because then you're focused on, you know, make back 5%. All of a sudden, that money you lost, you know, you're recouping that, you know, really quick. So there is something to be said of when you find a strategy that works. You know, you're going to have consistency, and you're going to have an edge, and you're going to make that money, right? At the end of the day.
Right.
Now, one thing I want to discuss is, I feel like, you know, you could find a system, but the markets, you know, it's always changing at the end of the day. What are you doing? You're getting great results right now. What are kind of some things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis to get prepared, you know, to continue to make sure that you have an edge on the market? I know you don't want to get into too much of the detail, you know, the details here, but walk us through, you know, kind of what your day looks like looking for trades and stuff.
So I wake up at between 1 a.m. and 1:30 a.m. on Eastern time, right? I go to the gym, and then I'm home back about 2:30, 2:45 prior to London Open. And I mainly trade the GBP pair, so mainly pound dollar, pound yen. Those are my two favorite. I've been back testing pound Kiwi, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing, but I don't really trade that one because it's really volatile. So I look at the 4 hour on, you know, the pound pairs, and that determines the direction of the trend for me. Once I've determined the direction, then I make my entries on the 15-minute. Once I make my entry, I set initial stop loss. My initial stop loss is never more than 20 pips. I like to keep it at 15. So I'm a more of an intraday trader. I'm not a swing trader. And I don't think you could consider me a scalper either, but I'm more of an intraday. So I'll set an initial 15 pip stop loss, and I'll find my take profit on the 4 hour if I see supply demand zone or support, and I'll set it there. And I look for at least 1-to-1, but I like 1-to-5 risk to reward. So let's say hypothetically I get in a trade and it's going my direction. The system I use smooths out the candles. Let's say I'm in a bearish trend. It's not Hakanashi, but somewhere in between regular candles and Hakanashi. So it's kind of smoothed out where I can bring my stop losses or manage my stop losses at the top of the candle if I'm in a bearish trend, and the bottom of the candle if I'm in a bullish. If I see some type of confluence within the 15 and 4 hour where I feel like it might run, then I'll let it go. And as long as I've reached break even, I might just let it go. So either I'm either gonna break even, or I'm gonna have a big payday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean,
so
letting your winners run at the end of the day is
let your winners run
the game, right?
And today would have been even better. I was letting it run, and I had the stop loss at like 151.01, and I was managing my stop loss while I was at work, and it just barely tipped it at like 151.72, and then it just kept on going, and I was it hurt. I was like, I could have been at 100K today, you know what I mean, based upon my position size, where I was.
Yeah, and the way that you're doing your stop loss is you're leaving yourself a lot of room for these high risk reward trades at the end of the day.
Right.
So you can lose, a bunch of trades in a row. Your win percentage doesn't have to be that high, and as long as you're letting these winners run, you're more than covering those losses.
And I typically, I don't know if you can see it, but I don't want to take any more than three losses in a day. And if I take 3 losses in a day, I'm done. And I'll wait for the next day to get back at it.
That's good. I mean, it sounds like you have a pretty, sound strategy that you walk through. One of the questions that I wanted to ask was, do you kind of mark up the same day, or do you have like a day where you do forecasting and then you're kind of just checking up on things?
I go at it anew every London Open.
A new session every time, new outlook every time.
Yep.
And you do it every day. You wake up at 1 a.m. every day.
1 a.m.
Oh, man, man's on a mission.
Now, see, so here's the thing. It's difficult, working a job and doing that. But yeah. I've said in my mind that's what I'm going to do until I don't have to work anymore. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, give them the motivation to the people out here, because I know there's people that want to achieve these, dreams and whatnot, and they're not even you can't even wake up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Meanwhile, here you are waking up 1 a.m. It comes down to like, what actually motivates you to push this hard, and maybe some other people can find this and relate to it, or
Freedom. That's it. I want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. That's all. But still be able to manage and take care of my family. You see the girls up there. I just want to spend time with my, kids and travel with them places. You know what I mean? Like, people don't know how to say, like, I make pretty good money with my profession, but I don't have any time. And I talk to a lot of people who are elderly and, in their last days, and a lot of them they tell me stories, and there's a lot of regret in their eyes. And and it's nothing you can do about it at that point. You feel me? So I don't want that, and I feel like this will give me the opportunity to live each day to its fullest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's something even with me. I know this is your interview, but it's like when I first had my first job, when I had my first job kind of out of college, like it was the same thing with me, man. It was, how am I going to do this, my whole life? This is
Right.
this was crazy to me. I'm very open-minded, and I'm like, how is this possible for me? And that's from that day on. I was 21. I'm 26 now. Man, I didn't take a day
Right.
off. I didn't take
So
it.
I got 20 years on you. So I'm 46, right? But I was like you at 22, right? When I graduated college, I was like, and I got my first job, and I'm like, I can't do this all my life. But I don't know if you have any kids or anything, but I had children, and that changes things. You know what I mean? It changed it, but it didn't. How can I put it? I had to adjust my goals. I had to set them further back.
I mean, that is what it is. At the end of the day, you got to take care of business. You know what I mean?
That's right.
For me right now, I don't have any kids. I have a little bit more freedom, right? But comes down to putting in the work. You're 20 years deep at this point. You know what I mean? 24 if you really start at the beginning. And you got some people that have been trading for 6 months, a year, that are not having the results that they want, and then they're pointing fingers and doing all these things. They're refusing to get a job and to pay for the child. I mean, you gotta realize, guys, that life doesn't stop, right? Life's gonna keep going, and you gotta make those adjustments, and you gotta put yourself in a position to get closer to your dream. There's not like an end goal, right? There's always gonna be something else. There really is.
Right.
That's life. There's always gonna be something else to strive for. Those things might change, but at the end of the day, you can't get close by giving up. And you can't get close by not working hard.
Right. So to piggyback off of that, when I was introduced to prop firms, so that was about 2 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. And I was just working one respiratory job. So there wasn't a lot of surplus at the end of the pay period. You feel me? So, and these challenges cost $200K for FTMO. I think it was like $1,400. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I said, I'm gonna get another job. You know what I mean? So I ended up eventually getting 2 full-time jobs and 2 what they call contract work, just so I would still have my family and everything covered, but I would have this surplus in order to take more challenges if I needed to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the funded trader wasn't my first one. I passed FTMO 100K back in April. Okay. So, but I plan on, what I'm saying, like I told you prior to the interview, I want to pass at least 7 200K challenges. At which point I feel like my risk will be mitigated, and I could do anything from at that point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Let those scale up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, risk very little. Be more conservative. Have a huge pot at the end of the day. Yeah, it's there's a lot that goes into all of this, but it seems like when it comes to you, the work ethic is pretty unreal, right? The work ethic is next level, and that's ultimately why the results are the way that they are. And also, one thing even to comment on how you're saying you got the extra job just to pay for the challenge, right? So there's a lot of people watching this that don't even have the first job to pay for the challenge. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's like one thing, even for some people that work with us at Forex League, our trading community, is they deliver analysis. They have like little side job thing, and we pay them a couple $100. they use that and then can buy challenges every month. And there's one guy that does that and literally just passed a 200K challenge. Now he's funded with the funded trader. And you know, he's about to get a profit split from a couple $100 to literally making 10K in the month, right?
Exactly.
So it's not
Exactly.
rocket science. It's not rocket science out here. Don't be that person that refuses to get a job, right? Getting a job is what ultimately you need to do to put yourself in position to get closer to your goal, your dream.
Right. Means to an end.
Yep.
You know?
So do you have any you know, plans to start a trading community yourself, you know, in the future, now that you've had some success and stuff like that?
I would love to, but I'm keeping honest with you, Angela. I'm an introvert. You know what I mean? I really, you know, stay to myself, which is one of the other reasons why trading appeals to me so much, because I can just do me, you know, and still be profitable. But I do have a Facebook group that I started maybe last year, but I never did anything with.
Mm-hmm.
But once I achieve the goal of 7 200K challenges passed, I will start, you know, adding people and showing them what I do and how I pass these challenges. But right now I'm just laying the foundation for what's to come down the road. You know, because it's evidence based. Ain't nobody will follow you unless you know, you gotta do something, you gotta pass it before somebody's gonna believe that you can teach them how to do it.
Yeah, and I will say we'll try to link below like the Facebook group that you have or some other contacts. Say someone did want to get in touch with Lloyd if you had any questions, or even if for the future you were interested in anything Lloyd was going to be coming out with. We'll link that down below. And so now that you're funded, obviously you're up a considerable amount. What are kind of your goals, moving forward? I know you mentioned the funded accounts. At one point, would you actually transition from really working all these jobs into getting into full time?
I'm thinking around 2022, the end of the year, beginning of the year. If everything play out the way, I don't see why not. Why keep grinding like I am when I can? Then I can focus on trading full time, and who knows what the results will be if I could really sit down and go full steam ahead with it. So I plan on, with this first profit split, paying off all my debt. Like with that first profit split, I should be able to clear everything, and at which point everything else will be surplus moving forward, October, November, December. I plan on getting me an RV. I've been looking at RVs, and hopefully the summer of 2022, I'll be traveling the country with my kids.
So everyone catch Lloyd cross country tripping in the RV.
For sure. Yeah.
We're gonna stop him, say hello.
Right.
Be trading out the RV. No one can touch him at that point.
Exactly, man. All of this been going on in my head, man, for a while.
It's crazy, man. You gotta have vision at the end of the day. With all of these things, right? You gotta visualize what is that position that you want to be in, and then when you get to that point, like I'm sure at one time you visualized being at the top of the funded trader leaderboard. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I did.
But seriously, no. But like being in a position where it's like, I'm making this amount of profit, and now that you're at that point, you gotta have what's the next visualization? Like, what is the next practice that you're gonna do? What is the next thing you're gonna achieve? Right? If there's nothing that you're striving for, I mean, you're just gonna fall short and flat on your face at the end of the day, right?
Right. People got to understand this, like I said in the beginning, this is life changing. Like this could be the catalyst for generational wealth. You know what I mean? This could give you the funds needed to get into real estate, to get into, rehabbing houses, to get into, philanthropy, helping the youth. It like it's so many directions that this could go,
Mhm.
or this could play out if when I stick to it and let the profits compound. You know what I'm saying? Because I really want to teach like young people how to trade, because I have a daughter that's 26, and I feel like she's getting what's the word? Uninspired with the way the world is going. And I think she looks at my life as how much I work and her mom works, and she's like, that's not what I want to do for the rest of my life.
I'm her age, but
Right.
I'm inspired. Like, I'm working hard, you know what I mean? But I see that a lot of people around me, and it's, because at the end of the day, we have all these things that we're seeing on the internet, we're seeing the good, of all, and a lot of the bad, but I'm saying, like, in regards to money, like, we're seeing all these people, all this freedom, and we're like, why am I gonna work all the time and do this and that? So there's a lot of misinformation going on out there. At the end of the day, figure out what do you want to be, right? You want to be a trader, go full steam ahead with that. You want to be a gymnast, a dancer, whatever you want to be.
Right.
You want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor. You know what I mean? You gotta, what is the end goal? And you gotta chip away at it little by little. And it might take a long time. It depends what talents you have, what you have internally, but then eventually you get there, right? And these things aren't being spoken about enough. So obviously passing it down, I mean, you're in a position, and you're only going to continue to be in a position to help other people, and then at the end of the day, inspire other people. But guys, this is not easy, right? Lloyd's making a good amount of profit, but it's not easy. At the end of the day, a lot of people are talking about, a lot of people fail these challenges and whatnot. I mean, it's true. The numbers are out there. People know what's going on. These challenges are not easy, and it's like anything else, any other profession, any other professional sport, right? Any other serious thing that you're getting involved with, where there's competition, it's going to be a high barrier to entry, right? There's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of money to be made. If everyone could do it, then it wouldn't be around at the end of the day. It'd be a little different situation out here. So yeah, you gotta stay disciplined, work hard. I mean, Lloyd, it's been a pleasure, speaking with you. I feel like we went through a little bit more motivational, content that I prefer, that I enjoy. And at the end of the day, I'm inspired by seeing your journey at this point. I mean, I didn't even realize that you're on the top of the leaderboard, honestly, before the interview. But that's pretty cool, man. And like, obviously, hope you keep killing it. In the future, we're hoping to do some incentives for the people that end the month at the top of the leaderboard and stuff like that too. So yeah, man, we'll see where this goes. It's been fun chopping it up with you, and thanks again for with all this.
Appreciate you having me, Angelo. It's been my pleasure, man.
Yeah, best of luck.